know everybody's on a tight schedule today, so we're going to start this presentation right on time. Thank everybody for coming for Mother today. And before we start, I just wanted to give you a couple of tidbits about this building. I know y'all are familiar with the state capitol and the grounds and all the interpretations on the grounds, but a couple of neat things I thought I'd throw out there. First of all, those of you from Edenton know that the two cannons on behind this wall that face down Fayetteville Street, flanking General Washington, came from Captain Boritz's stash there in Edenton. There were two of the Edenton cannon that were unloaded during the Revolutionary War for the state of North Carolina, and were stored there and later came to the Capitol from Edenton. So they're mounted right behind me. For our children and this room, the House room, and also the Senate room across the halls where our great-grandfather Spider Resco represented the county of Bertie, in this room and in the Senate room at the turn of the century. Also, in this room is where Mother's uncle, Bill Dawson, was a member and represented Pasquotank County. And also in this room and in those hallways and in the Senate chamber, Mother's father and my cousin's grandfather, Braxton Dawson, spent many an hour and a day representing the North Carolina Soft Drink Association, trying to keep Coca-Cola's a nickel instead of a dime. So he was successful through the late 1960s, and then of course the soft drink tax came into play and soft drinks went up. Two of our own, as you know, this building is 175 years old. The last session that was active in this chamber was in 1961. And of course, they all moved across the street to Jones Street, then to the General Assembly building. But as you leave, the plaque on the right was the 1961 House session. And there are two of our own on that plaque. One is Wayland Sermons from Beaufort County. And also on that plaque is Cousin William Sproul, who represented Bertie County. And it was in this room where he advocated his mental health policies that North Carolina adopted in the late 1950s and early 1960s for treatment of mental health. And of course, Cousin William is famous for every time he rose in this chamber, announcing that he was from that great land, Bertie County, on the shores of the rippling waters of the Rhine. So this is where he worked. I'd like to recognize some folks here today before we start as well, and were instrumental in Mother being presented with this award today. First of all, former Hertford Mayor and current Executive Director of the Clemens County Chamber of Commerce, Mayor Sid Ely. Thank you, Sid, for being with me. And also, the Chairman of the Clemens County Board of Commissioners, Wallace Nelson, who's doing quite recognize our faithful friend Betty Jo Shepherd, representing Senator Richard Burr today. Also, I'd like to acknowledge that our friend Alan Moran is also partly responsible for Mother receiving this award today. And Alan is our Highway Commissioner for District 1. In northeastern North Carolina. He and his wife Caroline Bassnight live in Manio, so thanks to Alan as well. I guess we will go ahead and start. If y'all will please stand, I've got a couple of things here. A short invocation. I picked two verses today for our invocation. The first was written by King Solomon, who wrote in Proverbs, verse 6, chapter 22, and he wrote, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." And the Apostle Paul and St. Timothy wrote in their letter to the young Christians in the city of Colossae in Asia Minor, in verses 5 and 6 of chapter 4 of their letter, they wrote, "Conduct yourselves wisely toward outsiders, making the most of the time. Let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how you ought to answer everyone. Amen. And now, if we'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and stand. Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here's to the land,
Long leaf pine, the summer land where the sun does shine, where the wheat grows strong and strong grow red. Here's to down home, the old North State.
All right. Y'all go ahead and be seated. To present today on behalf of Governor Cooper is Secretary Susie Hamilton, the Secretary of the Department of Cultural Resources. Secretary Hamilton has served North Carolina and her hometown of Wilmington for nearly 25 years. She began her career in what was then the Department of Cultural Resources Historic Preservation Office, and she was thrilled to return to the Department of Natural and Cultural Resources as Secretary under Governor Cooper. As a state legislator, Secretary Hamilton served her constituents in Brunswick and New Hanover counties from 2011 until January of 2017. With a background in economic development, regional planning, historic preservation, and the arts, she is passionate about stewardship in the state. As DCR Secretary, Hamilton oversees the state's resources for arts, history, libraries, and nature. The department includes state historic sites, museums of art, history, and science, state parks and recreation areas, zoo, aquariums, and symphony, the state library and archives, the North Carolina Arts Council, State Preservation Office, Office of State Archaeology, and Land and Water Stewardship. These programs represent the cultural, natural, and historic foundation of North Carolina, reaching our state citizens in all our 100 counties. Secretary Hamilton is committed to working with the department's resources to help grow our communities, preserve a sense of place, and improve quality of life to make a positive impact on the economic development of North Carolina. She holds a master's degree in public administration from UNC Wilmington and a Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. She's given her time and expertise to several boards and commissions, including the historic Wilmington Foundation, also the Coca-Cola's Film Festival, Carousel Center for Abused Children, the Wilmington Rotary Club, Girls Incorporated, and the Association of Public Administration, the Wilmington Chapter, and the Brooklyn Arts Center, and the North Carolina Downtown Development Association. She lives in downtown Wilmington with her husband Steve and her daughter Parker. Madam Secretary, thank you for being here with us today, and I'll turn it to you.
My
Thank
pleasure. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I am so pleased to be here today on behalf of Governor Cooper to present the Order of the Longleaf Pine to Miss Nancy Dawson Rasco, or as most people know her, Miss Nancy. A native North Carolinian, Miss Nancy has a love of historic preservation, taking a leadership role in the successful effort to place the Old Neck Historic Districts in Perquimans County on the National Register of Historic Places. And on a personal note, while I was with the State Historic Preservation Office in the mid-1990s, I reviewed that application and helped get it passed. My helpings come full circle. She was also a driving force behind the rescue and restoration of the historic Hope Plantation outside of Windsor. Her love of the Outer Banks and her time spent in the historic cottages of Nag's Head was the focus of her 2013 book, The Sandy Banks Live On, which documents the history and stories of her family's cottages and all the cottages of historic Cottage Row. A UNC TV documentary recognized her dedication to preserving this part of Eastern North Carolina heritage for future generations. But it is her work with young people, I suspect, that truly led her to the nomination for this award. The Order of the Longleaf Pine is among the most prestigious awards presented by the Governor of North Carolina. It is presented to individuals who have a proven record of extraordinary service to the state. For the past 25 years, Miss Nancy has opened her home to young people from throughout North Carolina and beyond, teaching them proper etiquette, manners, and most importantly, respect for others. If that's not extraordinary service, then I don't know what is. At Manners Camp, Nancy Rasco's charges learned the importance of good manners and proper etiquette, from setting a table to polite conversation and to writing correspondence. Along the way, they learned Miss Nancy's most important lesson, that good manners means being kind, considerate, and unselfish toward everyone. What an amazing legacy that is. Just think of what this world would be if we all, children and adults alike, learned that lesson and practiced it every day. Miss Nancy, thank you for making North Carolina the state that it is and the world a kinder place. Congratulations. Yes, ma'am.
For me to receive this, there was a nice, wonderful old colored gentleman, African-American gentleman, who shared this prayer. It wasn't his prayer. It probably was his great-grandfather, because he'd been a slave. And he said, Lord, and a lot of you may have heard this too, Lord, I ain't what I want to be. I'm not what I'm going to be, but thanks be to God and my Lord Jesus that I am what I used to be. So I want to tell you, because of the love of the children and the Father and everyone in this room, I thank him, because it's your award and it's his. But I thank you that you have thought enough of me to give.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Y'all are all invited to my wonderful old alma mater, St. Mary, right after this to have coffee. Good little foods. It won't be a dinner party for nighttime, but it'll be a fun time for everybody. So I hope you can come, and they're so honored me. Two of the happiest years of my life were spent there, and my little granddaughters, all three, have had a chance, and my daughter-in-laws. And I want to thank them for being such good daughter-in-laws to me, my sons. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Dawson. Thank you, Phil, and every one of you all. God bless.
God bless you.
Every day of your life.
Thank you, sweetheart. She's got one
I
more.
want to thank my husband, Paul, who wrote up all these little things, that y'all be sure to take them home and put them in your laundry room and your bathroom or something, and hang them up and enjoy them, and know that we are so blessed to be between the Atlantic Ocean and the most beautiful mountains in the world.
Congratulations. Sorry. Can you see it?
Here's to the land, it's a beautiful thing. Here's to the land of the longleaf pine, the summer land where the sun doth shine. Put some life in it and don't race it.